Hey, Margot here. This is a razor bangs DIY or do it together if you're gonna follow along tutorial. So my intention with this is now that I've moved outside of Southern California, I want my clients to be able to touch up their bangs if they are feeling like they want to. A lot of my clients already trim their own bangs, so I just want to share a more in-depth tutorial if that's you or you're wanting to trim your own bangs with a razor. Either way, I'm excited to share with you guys, and I'm gonna make it super simple, super easy to follow along. Watch it as many times in a row as you must, or pause it as we go along so that you can keep up. So these are my bangs. They're very grown in. I haven't trimmed them, I don't know, in a handful of months to do this tutorial for you guys. I keep joking that no one's seen my forehead in 34 years, so this has definitely been fun and interesting, styling my hair a little bit different, but I'm really excited to have bangs again. So I'm gonna jump right into it. This is the razor that I suggest. This is called a feather styling detail razor. As you can see, the blade itself has these little teeth grooves looking on them. And what that is that's a guard. When I cut your hair, I'm typically using a straight razor, which is much more advanced and at a professional level. I don't suggest trying that yourself. I've had clients use razor blades and all sorts of wild stuff, and truly I just suggest this cool, cute little feather styling razor. The other tools that you're gonna need for this is a comb. I love to have a comb that has a little bit tighter teeth and a little bit wider teeth. I just grabbed 2 clips. You might need one more, it's up to you. And then a water spray bottle, something to spritz your bangs down with. This is a mega secret. This is Reverie's milk. I'm just obsessed with milk. I think it's the greatest product ever invented. But secondly, when you're razor cutting, milk does provide a little bit more slip and glide for your razor to get through your hair, so you won't feel as much like tug. We want no tug is the goal, so I'll walk you through that, of course. The only other thing I have are like a couple little double prong clips. If you're a client of mine, you probably have these from me because I teach you how to set your bangs yourself. That's not that necessary, but when it comes to the wet setting or the styling, it might be helpful. So first off, I wanna do parts of the razor. I'm gonna call this the tip and this the heel. This is gonna be kind of the flat of the blade. It's not fully factual in this, it's just in terms for our communication. We're gonna call this center part the flat, this the tip, and this the heel. The flat, or when you're kind of like carving downward, you can think of that as like a vegetable peeler. That's gonna create a diffused look as opposed to using the tip or the heel. That's gonna create a little bit more clean lines. Something to really understand about the razor, whether it's straight razor or guarded razor, is the amount of tension you create really affects the outcome. So either way, you need to create tension. Tension is what's going to cut the hair in a clean manner. I describe this as if you have a string and you go to, cut at it with the razor and you're not pulling it taut, it's not gonna cut. You're just gonna kind of be tapping at the string. If you pull that string taut and tape it, from point A to point B, and then you use a razor, understood, it's gonna cut. That's essentially it for the parts of the blade. The way I like to hold the razor is my ring finger on my right hand, because I'm right-handed, goes into this cute little hole. My pinky rests right back here, and then I have my index and my middle thumb kind of supporting underneath. Okay, I'm gonna pause or let that hang for a sec so you can see. Awesome. So I think I wanna just get into the sectioning and start the process of cutting our own bangs. Here's my comb. Okay, so keep your comb handy. I'm going to start by just showing you all how to observe your hairline. Let me comb this out of the way. So I have some funky stuff, not funky, just like fun, really. It's what gives me character and makes me me. But I have a growth that kind of jumps this way. I have things that kind of push back. I have a big pushback right here. And it's important to observe what's going on your hairline so that we can act accordingly. That will make more sense as we start our sectioning. Cool. So now I'm gonna take my comb, and this is to understand, now that we've observed what our hairline looks like, start noticing the things that kind of jump up or maybe push over. Now let's observe our actual head shape, the round of our head. So I'm gonna take my comb and I'm gonna set it straight on top. And you can see right where my comb leaves my head is going to be my technical bang section. That's the curve of my head where all of the hair is going to sit forward. What can happen is if you start pulling from beyond that, we'll say back here, when this goes to sit home, I'm going to call it, it's going to be over here. That's where my hair falls. So just observe all of this for a moment. Again, if I bring all of this in, I'm going to have a funky little bang that's hitting right on the top of my ears, and nobody likes that. That's not cute. Okay, cool. So now that we've kind of established, you guys are gonna be shocked. I don't have much. I don't have a ton of hair in my technical bang section. So in the past, I used to incorporate more hair as a part of my whole haircut. But as I'm growing my shag in, I'm going to just be working within that tiny little section. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump from let me get my hair out of my eyeballs so I can see what's happening here. Perfect, so you can see, that's it. That's a tiny little bang section. She doesn't have much hair right there. That's okay. So, I bet you all didn't know that though, with the illusions you can create. Let me resection this. The illusions you can create with a bang on your face is just incredible. And you guys know this from my face framing techniques also, which will be a separate tutorial. So, I'm gonna match right where the comb leaves to what I call my recessions. These little zones that jump back in your hair. Some people have them very dramatic, some people don't. I don't have very dramatic recessions. So what you can also think of this shape as is like a really soft triangle, right? Right. Cool, cool, cool. Now, as I observe, you can see this whole section, which would be my technical middle part of my hair, actually jumps to the side quite a bit, especially as we get under here. So I'm gonna keep that in mind when it's time to start cutting, because I wanna make sure that I don't cut my center and then my center sits over here and it's short and I have no hairs left over here, okay? So, couple more key elements to this is because we're gonna be creating tension, you want to leave the hair a bit longer than your goal length, if that makes sense. So, say I want my bangs to kind of sit in the shortest part at the center of my brows, I'm gonna cut my bangs like mid-nose, mid-bridge my nose. That gives me plenty of room for it to jump up and spring, whether it be because of my cowlicks, whether it be because I have wavy hair. Either way, we can always go shorter. You can always go back and do it again. But I really really also take into consideration, like if you don't wash your bangs every day, you're gonna sleep, they're gonna schmuzzle up a little bit, you're gonna get some bounce in there. So we're gonna start longer. You can always go shorter. And you can use this sectioning and this shape and this formula and everything on any length bang. Key points: curlier the hair, the longer you wanna start. That's gonna spring a lot, especially when we're pulling the hair really taut. From there, just be mindful of the width that you take. This will make more sense in a moment when I go through it, but I like to just throw it out there. The difference between a wide bang versus a narrow bang. A narrow bang can be a lot softer of a look. You kind of leave a little more room for the hair to lay soft around the eyes or around the cheekbones. A wider bang is gonna be like your more quintessential like bang look, a heavier kind of wider look. So today I'm gonna do a little bit in between. I'm not going real narrow and I'm not gonna take it real wide. I actually have discovered as I grew my bangs out that I kind of like them longer. So I'm gonna just do this real simple method. And again, you can take this sectioning and this method and shorten it up or make it longer. Any of the lengths will work. Again, just be mindful of how short you're going with the amount of curl you have in your hair and the tension we're gonna create, okay? So there's gonna be a few things. Stroke is what we call the rhythm of our blade when we're cutting. If you do a really, really, really tight stroke, that's gonna create a very solid perimeter line. If you do a very loose, dramatically open stroke, essentially what you're doing is you're creating more space within the hair, so you're gonna have a softer, more feathery kind of look. So the razor itself as a tool is capable of creating multiple looks. I am just gonna show you guys the technique of bangs that I've been cutting for years and most of my clients like, and I'm making this video for you guys to trim your bangs. So, you know, take what you want from it and leave what you don't. So let's see. Okay, let's start. I'm gonna start with my water. Now that I have my big, soft triangle, okay? I like the hair to be not like sopping wet, but pretty consistently wet. You can see that, right? Right. Cool, so let's start right at that very little center. We're gonna split our bangs in two. And there it is, like I was saying, mine doesn't sit center. Most people's don't, so. I'm gonna take a little bit more from this side. And that, okay, so you see? Off center. Where does it lay visually? Center. So try to find that. Don't be so set on it being exact. There's an intuitive aspect to this, to where if we look, we observe, we see, we can approach it with this structure without being rigid on the structure, okay? So here's our little section one. Again, I don't have a ton of hair up here, so I'm just gonna work with what I have. If you have a lot of hair, break this down into smaller pieces. I'll kind of show you what I mean by that through the next section. Razor. And now with a scissor, you would be coming and cutting under your finger, right? With a razor, you cut above your fingers. So what I'm gonna do is take this tiny little offset triangle, because again, I have that pushover, okay? And I'm gonna pull this, and look, okay, so right now, that's already like sitting at the mid bridge of my nose. And you can see what my bangs look like. I don't want to go super short. I kind of want them to end up hitting like right about at my brow, maybe above my brow a little bit in the center. I like that shorter center, so. I'm gonna hold it straight out, not up and out, straight out, not down. Down is gonna give you the strongest, heaviest perimeter. The more you lift it up and elevate it, the softer the layering will be. We just don't always want a ton of layering in our bangs, so what I find works best is right there, okay? I'm gonna take my blade, I'm gonna take what I was calling the flat of the blade, and I'm gonna just carve downward real soft, just taking off a tiniest bit, right? Boop, that's my center. Let me comb this out real quick. And where does it hit? Kind of right where I wanted it, right? Cool. So I'm gonna split this now, matching the same section shape I had. There we go, doop, doop, doop. We're just splitting it. Here we go. Here we go. And now I'm gonna put the tiniest bit of milk, like literally half pump, tiny bit, because this is going in my bangs. And you can do this from the get-go if you would like. I kind of forgot, I'm not gonna lie, but it really does help. Cool. Okay. Here's our comb. And now, here we go. Visualizing. If we want a wider bang, we're gonna cut a little bit less directed over, okay? And we're gonna cut parallel. Yes, okay? So if we want a more narrow bang, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the same section, we're gonna actually twist it vertical like that and cut it on the other side of our noses, okay? So since I want something kind of in between, I don't want it super wide and I don't want it super narrow, that doesn't look great on my face. I'm gonna grab this, I'm gonna bring it over essentially to the arch of my brow on the other side. This is gonna be our guideline. Okay, let me move this hair so you can see. This is gonna be our guideline. This is what we cut from the center. So I'm gonna visualize, there's this here, and the end I would like to be about there. Okay, so let's create a visual line. You pinch the hair real taut in between your fingers, and I'm pulling my hair pretty taut, okay? So here we go. I'm gonna take the tip and lightly just kind of etch, almost like a pencil, almost like you're drawing, all the way over, okay? It's not a ton I'm taking off. You will see. Cute, right? Not too narrow, not too wide. Let's do that over here. And believe it or not, I even have less hair over here. So let me grab this. Again, I'm gonna take it almost over to the arch of my opposite eye. I'm gonna be taking the tip and I'm just gonna be etching, etching, etching toward my fingers, okay? Not a ton of hair, but a big impact. I'm gonna check our balance. Pretty even. Cool, cool. So now I'm gonna drop down these next two little sections. Now, if you have a lot of hair, like I was saying, some of you guys have so much density up here. I'm envious, it's incredible. You'll wanna break that into 3 or 4 sections, okay? So intuitively, do what's best for your head. Now I'm gonna take vertical, little zone, about, what is that? 1/2 inch or so, thick, width. And now I'm gonna grab that and we're gonna repeat. easy peasy. So I'm gonna pull out. That's my guide from my first cut. So guide being the first thing we did. If you wanna match exactly to that, good luck. Just kidding. I just am a lot looser with it. I like to have the variation. So no need to match exactly where that's at. Some variation is super cool. Again, flat center, really just light strokes going down the shaft of the hair, okay? There's my elevation. Similar to the first section. I'm gonna pull that in. You can see I'm pulling the hair very taut. And I'm just gonna boop. Cool. Nice, soft, diffused center. That's because we're using the flat of the blade. Really, really soft, okay? I could create a really strong line right there by holding it taut and cutting with the tip of my blade. The razor is an amazing tool with a ton of effects. This is just what we're going for today, okay? There we go, there we go. And now I wanna show you guys something. This is like technically a part of my section, but like it jumps over no matter what I do. So if I cut that into a bang, it ends up sitting like way over here and I don't like that. So I'm gonna ditch that. Let me show you what I mean by that. So now look at my section. Does that look even? No. But does it visually balance and lay even? Much better. So that's what I'm gonna go with. If it's easiest for you to start with just following the sections, do that. As time goes, you're gonna get more intuitive with your head and how things lay. You're gonna start remembering, oh, when I cut it like that, I did this and all of that. So truly take this as a journey. And I encourage you to think outside the box. Stay intuitive and just observe what's happening on your head. So here we go, middle section. Okay, and I, again, I'm gonna bring it all the way over to the arch, the opposite brow. I'm gonna just softly, softly, softly carve from point A to point B, okay? Now, if I were to be cutting this, where it lays, if I'm gonna be cutting it right here, you're gonna get a really wide open bang. The point of over directing it to the opposite side is that when it lays home, you have more hair. It's gonna be softer because it's traveling. Does that make sense? If you're cutting it in place, you're gonna get a stronger, more dramatic line. Cool if that's what you're going for. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so we're gonna take this side. Again, to the arch of the opposite brow. I'm just gonna softly carve from point A to point B. Do, do, do. Gonna do that one more time on this side. Gonna over direct that over, back to the arch. I went a little bit far on my arch. So let's do that one more time. Nice and soft, nice and soft, nice and soft. Tiniest bit just came off. Perfect. Yeah, that looks better. Dude, cute. Anyway, you guys can see, like, this is truly me showing you. I don't have a ton of hair. It's up here. I have a ton in the back. But it's such an illusion with how I shape my hair, how I cut my bangs, to create that shadowing around my face. Let me pop these bad boys down. And that, my friends, is what I'm going to suggest for now when it comes to cleaning up your bangs. As time goes, I'm going to expand on these tutorials and encourage face framing and possibly some layering ideas. But for now, I suggest 2 to maybe 3 bang trims yourself and then go get a haircut. Nobody does it like a hairstylist. Like, that's just because we're professionals. We should be able to do it better than you. If we couldn't do it better than you, then we'd be screwed. So please do a couple bang trims, go get a haircut, touch up your bangs again. The intention to this is not for you to completely replace seeing somebody. This is for you to create a little more longevity to either your last haircut with me or between your haircuts with your new stylist, which I'm excited for you to try a new stylist too. Let's observe. How does this look? Super simple, super cute. I love like having some of this weight, I'll say, on my corners here and just a little bit shorter in the center. It makes me feel like it frames my face nicely without being like too heavy and too bangy. Cool. Well, please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I'm really happy to work with you guys on this. Please leave comments. And I have also attached a code for purchasing your feather styling detail razor with a coupon code for 20% off directly through the brand. And I have also attached an affiliate link for Reverie's Milk, my favorite leave-in nourishing treatment of all time. And I've also attached my Venmo in case you found this really helpful and you want to send me a little tip. Feel free to. All right, until next time, I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoy your bangs. Take it slow, do it multiple times. What I even do is I'll cut them once, I'll wait a week and a half, I'll cut them again. So no need to do some panic crazy situation, some transformative situation. Just little by little, feel free to carve into your bangs, follow this formula, it's pretty safe. And then get intuitive and think outside the box and start doing some creative stuff. Please tag me if you use this and I would love to see what you created and I will be in touch with more tutorials. All right. Quick thing, I forgot to show you how to do your little set. So you're gonna comb everything forward, taking the small tooth comb, small tooth side of your comb it all forward, forward, forward. I take my first little double prong clip, smack in the middle, then I softly kind of direct my bangs like that. Take my next little clip and I go right in the corner of my eye. Okay, my next little double prong and go right in the corner of my eye. Now, as you can see, what that's going to do is encourage your bangs to lay forward with a slight little kick out right around the corners of your eyes. Be intuitive with this. If you see that you need maybe the clip a little bit lower, do that. If you feel like you need these a little bit lower, a little bit higher, go for it. I just wanted to add that on so you guys knew how to do it. Okay.